Hi guys. Hello. Hello, hello. How are you? How is it going? Who have we got? Little raccoon. Oh my god, I love raccoons. Hey man. Hi James. Hi Debar. Hi. Now I've been calling you Romaine, but now I realize it's Romain. Hi Romain. Hi Mido. Ash. Hey girl, hey. Guys, Ashley, her dad, Nefa from Genshin Impact is in the chat. How exciting. Oh, hey guys. Wait, how do I see you more clearly, everybody who is here? Hello to all of the familiar faces. Hello if you are new. I realized that maybe I should like introduce myself on streams. Because I just start talking. But the whole purpose of having this Ivy League plant stream is because I am the voice of Poison Ivy in the new Lego Batman game, Legacy of the Dark Knight. And I basically wanted to express my genuine personal love for plants and gardening that so perfectly chimes in with Poison Ivy's character and characteristics. And so if you're new here, that's who I am. I am a voice actor. I am the voice of Poison Ivy in this new game. And we are here to just talk about plants because they're the greatest thing. And I am obsessed. And I'm no expert by any means, but I'm a very enthusiastic hobbyist. And I was going to say beginner, but it has been a big hobby of mine for a couple years, maybe 3 or 4 years even. So so I've learned a lot of, I spent a lot of time on Reddit. I've learned a lot of things on YouTube and Reddit and Googling and trial and error. So if you are new to plants, if you kill everything you touch, I can help you, maybe? We can fix that, maybe. I am now that I've introduced myself, catching up. Hi, Changli. Guys, not just Nefer. Changli. Ashley, her dad. What a ledge. More lessons in botanical yapping. Hell yeah, James. I'm just going to plug my phone in here. You have a small patio garden, Squeegee. That's I have a balcony garden out there. It is I live up in the sky, so all of my outdoor gardening is just in pots on a balcony. I love it, to be honest, because it kind of, the advantage of doing stuff in pots is that if you get some kind of disease, like if things go really wrong, it's automatically quite isolated, so you can just be like, quarantine this guy, sorry, but it doesn't, spread. Things don't take over. Romain, I can call you Salad today. Merci beaucoup. Salad. But I'll call you Salad because I can't believe... I was assuming you were German because I had played a German Romain. But you are a French Romain. Aerodynamics, you were the one watering your grandma's garden. That's lovely. That's a nice thing to do. I wish I had somebody to water my garden. It's really, like, it can be quite meditative, but I have too many plants, indoor and outdoor, and so it's become this gigantic task. Holy booba. Egg elf. Holy booba. Hello, hello. Winter, you just got cast doing for a commercial? Congratulations, dude. That's huge. Amazing. Amazing. For a shampoo brand. Ah, that's so luxurious. So nice. Oh, that's really great, dude. What did I miss? Scrolling up a little bit. It is more plant time, Arteg. How are you all doing? What have you been up to today? I tried to pick a slightly earlier time today so that maybe some people who want to stay up late in Southeast Asia could join us. Because for those poor guys, it's always like 4 in the morning when I stream. um, so we shall see. Debar, it's 12 p.m. for you. Reasonable, reasonable. You're on the East Coast, I guess. Yeah. Oh, we're not doing moon exploration in Genshin. I am so excited for that, though. I think I had been so, I've been so focused on getting through Sumeru so that I could play the latest Archon quest, that I completely missed the trailer with Sandrone and everyone going to the moon. So I actually haven't seen any of the moon content except for like images that I see on X, and just they look so beautiful. And so I'm excited to kind of do that, explore all of that content completely without seeing anything online first. It looks so cool. Oh, kitty cat, Kit Kat, yes. A Southeast, I got a Southeast Asian who is conscious. I appreciate you. I just always have, I have the nicest interactions with Southeast Asians online, and so I was like, okay, come on, guys, we're gonna make his timing work. Hi, Columbinell. Halle Moonstar, you love hydrangeas and belladonna. What is your favorite? What's my favorite flower? I love hydrangeas. What does belladonna look like? Wait, let's do what I set up. I set this up earlier so that I could do Googles and you guys could come with me. I need to see belladonna. I can't see my keyboard with this microphone here. Slight-ish. Belladonna. Oh my god, this is so fabulously goth. Belladonna is a poison, isn't it? Or it was used as a poison. Oh wow. Those flowers are almost black. That's so cool. Okay. I respect the vibe. My favorite flowers are dahlias, which are native to Mexico. I like a lot of things that are native to Mexico. I like Mexican food. I like Mexican flowers. I like Mexican chilies. I'm like, hell yeah. Well done, Mexico. Yeah, dahlias are my favorite. And there are so many different varieties of dahlias. But I like a tropical looking garden. Because I think I live in England, and we have a lot of kind of cottage style gardens. And so I tend to like palm trees and spiky plants and gigantic tropical flowers, and anything that looks kind of prehistoric and jungly is my favorite thing. And dahlias have such impact. What do I think about Odette and Alyosha? I like Odette because she's a ballerina, and I used to do ballet, and I like ballet a lot. And I like Alyosha's name because I did a production of The Brothers Karamazov when I was at drama school. And so I've always liked the name Alyosha since then. Did I see Amanda's here? Hello, Amanda. I'm a little bit behind on chat. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Amanda is fresh back from LA, where she was at Anime. Wait, I'm gonna say it wrong. Anime Expo. Oh God, the big con in LA that was just now, which was very exciting. Columbinell, the name sounds so fancy, belladonna. It is just Italian for beautiful woman. So clearly, some Italian gardener was like, "Oh, look at this flower! What a pretty lady! I'm gonna call this flower Pretty Lady." Holy Booba, Mexico did lose to England. Yes. Yeah. Apologies to Mexico. I don't know who I'm rooting for in that. I'm not a very like nation statey kind of person. I think because I'm both British and American, I like belong to multiple camps. And I like the Mexicans so much. So when I started watching the game, I was like, oh, come on, Mexico, clearly. But you know, I don't want to betray my people. And then I wasn't able to stay up and watch the whole match because I had to get up for a voice session, and so I didn't see it, but apparently it was a spectacular game of football. Holy Boob, I recommend The Brothers Karamazov. It is a very, very good book. Anime Expo, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch up in the chat. I wish I'd gone to Anime Expo. I have FOMO too, Farina. Bonjour, comment ça va? Ça va très bien, merci. Et toi? Bonsoir. Pour vous, you have a Japanese name, but you're speaking French, so I don't know where you are. Where in the world are you, Ayato Kamisato? USA lost yesterday, I heard, to the Belgians. And I am a US national, but like my grandparent, like my great grandparents, they all come from Belgium, like France, Germany, Belgium, that kind of border region, is where all of my people hail from. So I was kind of torn loyalties. I'm like, ah. Yes, Ashley, her dad is here. Ash, why are you talking about floriography? That sounds fabulous. Floriography. Sprichst du Deutsch? Nein. Ich kann pronounce Deutsch, but I don't speak it. Yeah, you can't object to Belgian waffles. And also mayonnaise on chips, French fries, whatever you want to call them. Potato sticks, mayonnaise. It's the best option, I think. I think this Floriography is a super cool book, and it is the why we have named flowers what we've named them. I like that. Oh yeah. Can I make Ash a VIP? That's surely a thing that I should be able to do. Probably in Twitch. If I had my activity manager open, which I should. But oh wait, yes I do, in OBS. Boom. Don't mind me, guys. I'm a pro. How do I find... Oh no. You know what, Ash? If I can't solve it now, I'll solve it later. She's a VIP, god dang it. In OBS, the option it wants to give me is to block you. And so far, that's not my move. Oh, Kamisato Ayato is a character from Genshin. I didn't realize that. Whoops. I don't know how to... I know I've definitely made people VIPs. I have a finite number of windows open. You know what I mean? Mike, hello. Hi, how are you? Rude of OBS, I know. You know, the problem is, I think, anytime a software is trying to combine too many different things, like I'm using bits of stream elements, I'm using Restream, I'm using Twitch, and it's combining all of that functionality, and it's like, God, do I have to? I'll go to my creator dashboard. On my creator dashboard, it will let me do things. Famous last words. Okay, I think I found it. I thought I'd found it, and then the pop-up says, manage suspicious user. Ash, are you a suspicious user who needs to be managed? No, I'll do it after. I apologize. My love. Ah, thanks for the sub, Mike. It's in the dashboard. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I'm trying, bro. The thing is, I know how to do it when Ash does ban her, timeout. Why Why is it so specifically negative? I can't figure it out. Roles manager, community roles manager. Oh, okay. I have to do this, do this. Oh, thank you for the sub, Kim. Okay. Oh, I see. It's not just like in the chat. I have to add. Gotcha. All right, let's do this. Ash. What's your name, Ash? Ash Haddad. VO. Boom. She's a VIP. It's happened. Dun, da, da, da. I feel like you should get a bottle of champagne or something. I lift the rope barrier and I invite you up to the VIP lounge. Okay. Let me catch up with what you're talking about, guys, considering that that is the purpose of this lovely stream. Okay, I scroll back to waffles and mayonnaise. Belgian supremacy. Your name is Sandy Septian and you're from Indonesia. Yay, another Southeast Asian in the chat. Victory. Welcome. No, it's gone out of my head. All of my welcomes that I learned in all of my new languages. Come on, give me the Indonesian one. It's for you. I mean, is it? It's selamat, but where are we? It's like 1 a.m. I don't know whether to say good morning or good night to you. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi to you, Sandy. Amanda truly is the VA's manager. Yes. Amanda knows stuff. She knows the stuff and the things. She's very knowledgeable. Hi, Nova. Okay. Indonesia, apa kabar? Yes. Wait, isn't that thank you? Not hello. That's what I've written down. Have I written it down wrong? It's quite possible. I took a lot of notes of a lot of new languages because I wanted to be able to greet everybody correctly. Raise, I would love to come to Anime Expo. I just gotta get myself invited. I've just got to become overwhelmingly popular and then I'll get invited. That's my hope. Amanda's voice dub live was so good, wasn't it? Really, really fun. And I watched it and I thought, because Amanda and I both trained in theatre first, and my theatre heart was like, oh, that would be so fun to do, you know, like a live audience, gorgeous. It's what we got into this for to begin with. Selamat pagi is good morning. I don't know if it counts as the morning. That was my question. Apa kabar means how are you? Well, I definitely wrote that wrong. Thank you, guys. Well, apa kabar then? Apa kabar? Thank you, Amanda, shouting me out. That's so nice. Debar. I've missed your bad jokes. We haven't had a bad joke in a while, and saying that we can't just show up to conventions willy-nilly is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. What is my favorite musical? I mean, I love musicals. So it's kind of hard to pick, but the one that most gets my like teenage heart is Guys and Dolls. I absolutely love that show. I played Sergeant Sarah in a very bad production. I mean, I'm not good enough at musical theatre to be doing that in public. But I love that show so much. Oh, thank you, Nova. I thought a little bit of red lip in honor of Poison Ivy. Cara Theobald is an amazing VA. She did great as well. Emmy Lowe did great. Oh, thank you, Winter. I think I do have quite, I can have quite an intimidating, serious face. So whenever I do headshots, they look like, huh. And then I talk and I'm like, hi, guys. What is my favorite language other than English? I can't choose, except for I do like the French non-verbal sounds. I like all of the. Am I? Oh, where did they get all of their coffee? Starbucks. I love a dad joke so much. It's so good. What is Nefa's favorite music? Rick Astley. Why? Because she's never gonna give you up. Oh my God. Oh, you like it when I speak español? Por mi acento europeo. Gracias. We all just got rickrolled, and it's 2026. Who expected that? Okay, so for this plant stream, it's going to be shorter than last time because last time I just kind of wanted to answer every question and went on and on and on and on. And that was bonkers. So we're going to keep it a little bit shorter, but I still got, so we got never rolled. I'm getting distracted. Alex, focus. I have some questions to answer from people who sent in questions, which you are always welcome to do anytime that well, to be honest, anytime you can send me a question and I'll talk about it on the next plant stream. But especially when I announce that I'm doing these and then I ask for questions, then by all means send me stuff. So I've got some of those to answer. And I have, I think, a couple just general topics that I thought might be interesting to talk about because I have quite a beginner focus. And so these are just like some fundamental beginner things that I wish someone had told me when I was first trying to figure out how to stop killing plants. And then I have some show and tells and some demos, obviously. So yes, welcome to Botanical Yapping Glass. Welcome to the Ivy League. I'm not playing Genshin today. Today is not a Genshin themed stream. It is a Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight themed stream because I'm the voice of Poison Ivy. And so we are talking about plants, learning about plants. That's the whole vibe. Hyped for the basil. Yes, Mido. Okay. We need a logo for the Ivy League. Well, I mean, I tried to give her some graphics in the thumbnail. I'm having difficulty with my thumbnails looking kind of low res and pixelated, even though I'm doing all of the correct things. But once I figure that out, it's so warm here. I'm sticking to my hair. Thank you, Kazoo. Yeah, I was beyond excited to be cast as Poison Ivy. I have been a fan of her for a long time because I'm such a fan of Uma Thurman. So basically everything she does, I will watch. And also because I'm such a plant lover, I've just, Poison Ivy has been my little avatar privately for a long time. Ivy League merch. No, I think I might get sued by like Harvard if I did that. Oh, thank you, Amanda. That's good to know. I really thought there was a hack that I could solve the thumbnails looking crappy thing. But, I've exported it at the correct resolution, the correct file type, the correct file size, and it still looks like ass. So it's very frustrating. All right. So, okay. Thank you, Amanda. Will do. She can be my expert consultant off stream. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to start with is a little reward if you were here for the last or the first Ivy League plant stream. One of the demos that I did was I talk a lot about pothos plants because I think they are the ideal beginner plant. And just to acquaint you, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let's pothos. These guys. Wait, can you see this? Have I done the correct thing? Yeah, okay, good, you can. These guys, they are the ideal beginner plants because they take a lot of neglect, they take a lot of abuse, they come back from the dead really well, and they grow really fast. And so basically, they're kind of like a sandbox plant. To be honest, it helps you learn the basics of what to do. And so, oh, now I'm missing chat. I'm so addicted to reading every chat message. I've got to let that go, I think, probably, as I get more experienced. You call them masochist plants, Winter. Yeah, apt. Because they'll be like, hey, forget about me. Don't worry, I'm still here. They grow so fast that what I demoed last time was sometimes you will get a vine that is like 12 feet long. And these plants are the easiest to propagate. You chop that vine up and you separate out, you make sure that each bit that you chop up has a node, which is kind of like the joint along the vine, and a leaf. And then you put it in a vase of water and it will grow a whole new plant. And so, as if by magic, let me do my first demo for you guys. Hopefully I won't throw anything on the floor this time. Behold, I didn't do it all on stream because it would have taken a while, but this is the vase that I made from one single overgrown vine. I chopped up all... Ooh, I'm just throwing them on the ground. I chopped them up like I described. So you have a node and you have a leaf. And I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been 2 weeks. Do you see the root? It hath rooted. And that's what's fun about Pothos, is that happens so quickly. And don't panic if it doesn't, because like this one has not rooted. It has 2 leaves on it though, which means that basically the leaves require quite a lot of energy. There's like a reciprocal relationship. Leaves provide energy to the plant, but they also require energy to be sustained, especially when a plant's very small. So sometimes if you take a cutting with a lot of leaves, it can take longer to produce roots. You kind of have to hit that sweet spot. But a lot, can you see? I hope. Lots of roots in there. And so these roots are actually long enough now that if I wanted to, I could plant them in soil. And pothos are an interesting plant because they can live completely in water permanently. Can you see this where I point right at it? That plant there, that is a vase where they are permanently of pothos cuttings that are permanently living in water, and the roots are super, super long. They look like ramen, spaghetti. When you let roots live in water for a very long time, they grow accustomed to that habitat, and then they don't like to be moved to soil. And perversely, often they can rot if you put them in soil. But at this length, when they're new, they're like a good few inches long, but they're not longer than that. You can put them into soil, and each stem will grow a whole new pothos plant. Isn't that fun? How long should you wait before planting them? I would say wait until the roots are a few inches long. You can kind of like, pothos are indestructible. And also because you get so many attempts, because each node is its own, its own plant, technically. You can trial and error all different things. You could even if you want to really do kind of like Wild West rules, you can cut the thing up and put it straight in soil and just see if it survives. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but I have the most success if I let the roots grow a few inches long, and then stick them in soil, or just keep them in water forever. And then you just change the water like once a week, sometimes less if you forget, because as they keep saying, they can handle a lot. Taking notes, your pothos is getting out of control, Amanda. Amanda has a silver pothos, and I love silver pothoses. Oh, this is. I was going to say I have one somewhere. This is a silver pothos. It's called silver pothos because of this lovely variegation on the leaves, which kind of variegation just means areas of light and shade on a leaf rather than it being uniformly one color. And because the lighter areas are kind of silvery, that's why this is called silver pothos. Okay, I'm going to put it down before I spill it everywhere. Always a possibility with these streams. Do you know what I mean? I'm like so happy to see everyone noticing its roots. I'm like, yes, I'm so proud of its little leggy roots. Mido, I don't know why. If you let the roots live in water too long, they rot in soil. It's such a strange phenomenon because often if you overwater plants, they die because when the roots get waterlogged, they start to rot. Their ability to uptake oxygen is limited. And so the plant dies from being starved of oxygen, which means they can often actually wilt. So they look like they need more water, but they definitely don't because their roots are rotten. And it doesn't make sense to me that a root that lives in water would have a complaint about the soil being too wet. But they seem to. It must be something I've not yet learned about how they sort of take up oxygen from the water. Now that I'm saying take up oxygen, I'm like, am I being an idiot? They produce oxygen. They do need oxygen from their roots. I'm sure of it. Don't they? Guys, have I got the science wrong? Can the person who's doing their GCSEs help me? Because I feel like there was someone in the chat last time who was doing their GCSEs, and this feels like perfect GCSE level knowledge. Do they? I know they produce oxygen with their leaves. They not exhale it, emit it, expire it. Do they draw oxygen through their roots? Vitas roots can absolutely rot. Yeah, it's one of the main problems that people encounter with houseplants. I would say 8 times out of 10, when a houseplant has died, it's because the roots have rotten. Ash, just say plant words and smile. I mean, I have to be honest about the fact that I really don't. I'm like, I know things because I've just been Googling nonstop for 3 years. But I don't know. The Monstera behind me looks so regal. Thank you. Monstera leaves are so beautiful. I find them kind of a pain in the ass. They don't have a strong structure because actually I'm the one at fault, really. Because as appropriate for poison ivy. The plant's great. The humans are the problem. Monsteras should be growing outside. When they grow as house plants, I think they're a mess because they don't have a central stem. They want to be climbing up things, but there's nothing to climb up. And so you basically have to give them like a giant plank of wood or something to support for them to climb up. But they're very big and strong and hefty. And so inevitably they end up just kind of like sprawling out everywhere. I think Amanda knows this. She's got a feed me Seymour type situation happening with her Monstera. And I saved this one from a dumpster. I didn't really think it through. I just couldn't let it be taken to the trash. And so I've, adopted it and taken care of it, but they take over, man. But the leaves are very cool. Little Shop reference, hell yeah. I love that movie. Oh, thank you, Varum. Okay. Oh, thank you for the sub, Loris Khan. They need it to respire as well. They intake oxygen. You're doing A level. Thank you. Oh, okay. A level saved the day. Ash, yes, this is a dumpster baby. And then I discovered why it was in the dumpster. It's because it has thrips. And I have spent. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the gifted, Laurie. Wow. That's so kind. Oh, thank you. I just seen your message. Oh, wait. And I missed 9 minutes ago. Kochi said, where does cactus go from easy to hard? I think that the kind of idea of cacti being easy plants is so unhelpful because they're not easy. Because I think most people kill their houseplants by overwatering, cacti and succulents are actually quite tricky plants because they're very sensitive to being overwatered. So cactus goes from easy to hard. I would say when you put it in the right environment, that doesn't require you to be the one monitoring the environment so much, because if you're in charge of it, it's really hard work. But if you have it I have some succulents outside and they are in an area that get loads of sun, but they're completely covered. So basically the rain just doesn't hit them. What they get is like if it rains super hard or rains sideways, they'll get a little bit of rain. And because I'm in the UK, we're very humid here. So there's a lot of kind of indirect moisture they get, and they get loads of sun. And that basically means I don't have to do anything to them. But as houseplants, they're a pain in the ass, I think. Ash, you have a Cthulhu aloe plant? Amazing. Give me a baby. If you have babies. I used to have a mega aloe plant and I don't anymore. Does cactus yield fruits? They do. I don't know if all cactus yield fruits, but definitely many varieties do. And some varieties are edible, I believe. 40 minutes into the stream, you're asking me to give you a baby. You know how it is, Ash. I can't. You have that effect, man. What can I say? What can I say? Okay, the next thing. Oh, thank you, Raze. Good point. I've got 2 glasses of water with me today because I learned last time that when you're yapping non-stop, you need it even more. Oh, Potato Shura, I am fascinated. How did your terrarium die? I mean, 5 months isn't bad going. Did you take the lid off? I'm not trying to blame you, but did you let it stay a completely closed circuit? Did it die without being interfered with? Or were you trying to fix something and then that didn't work so well? I'm going to put the chat on both sides. winter, do I think soil or water is better for the pothos? I mean, I'm very fond of keeping them in water because they grow more slowly in water, and I have pothos everywhere in my apartment, like everywhere. And so they've gotten kind of out of control now. It's very poison ivy coded. They are like taking over my kitchen, they're taking over my TV room, my bedroom, every like in here. And so actually having them in water where I don't have to water them, I just change the water out, which takes 2 seconds. And I you can forget about that for weeks and it's not a problem. So they're very low maintenance in water, which I like. But in soil, they grow so fast and it's so cool. If you want jungle flowy vibes, then soil is my recommendation. Okay, sweet. The next little practical thing I have to show you. I have had a couple questions about orchids, and orchids are one of those plants that were very appealing to me when I didn't know anything about plants, but I always killed them like immediately, and it made me really sad because they're so beautiful. And I actually think orchids are super easy to take care of. You just have to follow certain commandments. And so I have one to share with you. I have one that's in bloom and that's beautiful, but I just repotted it. It's not very stable. I couldn't move it in here. So I've actually brought one to you that is totally bald. It has no flowers. You have to imagine a whole 3 strings of just the cutest pink flowers, because that's what was on there until a week ago. But unfortunately, the blossoms, they last a really long time, but they don't last forever. And this had come to the end of its blooming cycle and they all fell off. But what I'm going to show you is what you do when your blossoms all fall off, and to reassure you that that doesn't mean it's curtains for the plant. By no means. There's just a little bit of upkeep that you do to get it ready for the next time that it wants to flower. Ash, your orchid never bloomed again. Oh, that's so sad. And Mita, you're building a Lego orchid. Oh my God, how appropriate. I love it. Do I have pictures of it when it had flowers? No, I do not. I take a lot of pictures of my outdoor plants and none of my indoor plants. But it was very cute. So the questions that were asked, one was, how do you water orchids? And the other one was, how do you know when it is time to repot an orchid? And I see Ash wondering about how to make it flower again. So maybe I can try and answer all 3 of those. So I'm going to show you. I'm trying so hard not to dump this on my keyboard. That would be so sad. Orchids are such cool plants because they don't grow in the ground, in their natural habitat. They are like parasites. They grow on other trees. There is a name for that. It's like epi something. Let's show an orchid. Let's move this out of the way. 1 sec. And show an orchid growing on a tree. Ah, perfect. So they stick their roots into the bark of trees. So when you keep them as houseplants, you don't want to put them in a normal potting mix. And sometimes supermarkets or homeware stores or wherever you buy them from, put them in regular potting mix, and it kind of like chokes the roots and they struggle to get the aeration that they need. And so what an orchid likes to be put in mimics its natural habitat. Okay, can you see that it is in bark? So you can buy this stuff. It's super cheap. It's called orchid bark, and it's just a type of bark that orchids like to live in. And you can see these are all the big chunky roots. And this has been watered fairly recently, and so the roots are still green. They're starting to get a little bit silvery. When the roots go silver, that's when it's time to water. And the way that you water them is by soaking this completely, like just sit it in a bowl of water for a while. It's not an exact science, like maybe half an hour. And then take it out, make sure that it drains completely, and that's it. And I do that once a week, once every 2 weeks. Like my ethos with plants is always like the lowest maintenance possible. So you will not ever catch me watering anything more often than once a week, and that's pushing it. So these guys can handle being watered infrequently, but it means that every time you water them, you want to absolutely drench it and give it plenty of time for all of that bark to get fully saturated. And then it should go, all the roots will go a bright green. And that's how you know that it's happy again. If people are copying advice from Wikipedia, I endorse that, because everything I'm telling you now has just come from me Googling things. So now that this little cutie has finished flowering, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, is you just cut off the flower stalks. And I've seen a bunch of different things saying like you can leave them, they'll reflower, or don't cut them too low. In my experience, once they've flowered, at least on the varieties that I'm buying from my like cheap supermarkets near me, they never reflower on this stem for me. So I'm going to cut these off right at the base. And then when it's ready to flower again, it will grow a whole new flower stalk. And the flower stalks actually show up very quickly. Like you won't notice it, and then suddenly be like, oh, there's a whole new stalk here. What the heck? And so, yeah. Oh, thank you, Mantracore. That feels very aptly botanical. I'm thinking of Mandragora. That's why. Mandrakes. All right. Don't cut your fingers off. These are all my former flower stems. They're going in the bin. And so now this guy, basically you continue doing the same thing, watering it once every couple of weeks. It will need less water because it isn't trying to sustain the flowers. And one thing you kind of want to avoid with orchids, if you can, is soaking the core, like what's it called? The crown of the plant, which is basically where it's like the heart of it. You want to avoid pouring water right into it, because they can rot if that stays too wet for too long. I'm not super careful about it, but to be extra safe, I just dunk the whole thing in a bowl of water. They love to be dunked. You know, sometimes it's nice to take a bath, even when you're an orchid. Okay, so Ash, you cut your flower stalk down like this, and it's never made a new stalk, just more leaves. Have you ever used BRB? Product endorsement. Jesus Christ. Product endorsement. Have you ever used this stuff, dude? I love this stuff. It's so good. It's an orchid feed, and it's cute. I spend a lot of time like mixing, diluting various different potions and magical chemicals to give my plants. The toxins have replaced my blood with aloe. Exactly that kind of vibe. This is a pre-mixed, very cute, handy little product. And it is just an orchid feed and a mist. And usually when plants aren't flowering, it's because they're missing the specific nutrient that they need to flower, which I want to say is like phosphorus and potassium. I don't know if that's true of all flowers, but certainly my outdoor plants, if you want them to flower, you give them a plant feed that is high in phosphorus and potassium and not too high in nitrogen. Nitrogen will make them produce more leaves, and phosphorus and potassium will make them produce more flowers. So maybe that's what's going on in this. Maybe it's the magic of a pretty pink bottle. I don't know. It works for me. You spray it on the leaves and on the bark. You spray it all over the dang thing. And maybe that will work. This one is made by Baby Bio. I am sure other brands are available. Alex and her science arc. Alex has been in her science arc. She's there. Let me tell you, when they first showed me the periodic table, I was like, oh, good. I'm glad someone's organized this. Of course, you've already tried the starfish. I don't know, man. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. Maybe you've got a cursed orchid. I am very brutal when it comes to plant experiments. And like, if it's not working for me, I'm like, okay, let's deep six that and get a new one. Life is too short to be negged by your plants. Love from the UAE. Wow. Marhaba. Hi. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Now, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to drink some water. And then we maybe get on to the main topic. Well, there's two things. Two things I want to talk about. One is watering, which maybe I'll do first because that's related to this. And then the other is herbs, and specifically basil, whatever you want to call it, basil. You should tell me what basil is in your language while I put the orchid away. While I put our kid away. I have not yet been to the moon. I'm looking forward to it greatly. I plan to. Vikas, is watering really complicated? It isn't. I nearly smashed the table with enthusiasm. It's not really complicated. And that's part of why I was like, if there's one thing I want to talk about, if there's one piece of advice I would give to people who are like, what do? I don't have green fingers. Everything dies. Like, how much is too much water? How much is too little water? I'm like, I have a solution. And somebody told me this solution during lockdown, and it turned everything around for me. And suddenly I went from killing everything to just having all of my plants thrive. And it's all to do with how you water them. So just send me your plants. That's the tip. Mike is correct. I'll put an address in the chat. Just send them to me and I'll water them. No, I'll tell you what it is, guys. Plants love to be watered, but they hate to sit in water. So if you leave them in their decorative pots like this, and you're pouring water into it, and that water has nowhere to go, that plant is going to be either way too dry because it's not getting enough water, maybe way too dry at the top, and then way too wet at the bottom. And you will end up, if you're watering it enough for the top to not dry out, the bottom's going to rot. And it's how plants die all the time. If you want to figure out why your plant died, like, you can do a post-mortem. You can take it, like, excavate it, have a look at those roots, and most of the time you will find mushy, gross, like soft, slimy roots. And that means they have rotted, because healthy roots are, oh, oh my God, I'm such a TV presenter. Healthy roots look like this. Healthy roots are, I mean, these ones have been in water, so they are bright white. Imagine it covered in a bit of dirt, but they should be firm. They should be not at all slimy. They just look, you'll instantly tell. Your like lizard brain knows when something's healthy or not healthy. That's what all of your plants' roots should look like. So if you are ever having a problem with a plant and you want to like really diagnose it, don't be shy. Get in there and look at the roots. You can always put it back in soil, as long as you're kind of delicate with them, and especially you don't disturb the taproot, which is like the middle root at the center of the plant. It's often the longest root, but you can be the ones around the edges are usually fine if they get torn and cut away and stuff. Have a look at your roots. So I've told you what not to do. What not to do is to leave it in a decorative pot like that and just pour water in. You basically want to put it in the bath or the shower or a sink, or outside, anywhere where you can let the inside pot, this pot, freely drain. And then you want to soak it. You want to drench that plant. Like you want it to, not only for the water, the internet always says for water to be running out the bottom. Water will run out the bottom immediately. That's not long enough. It needs to be drenched for long enough that the core of the plant, which, imagine it's really dried out, it takes a long time for the water to properly absorb into the center of the plant. You want that thing to be drenched, and then you let it drain completely, which is why you do it in a shower or a bath or a sink or outside. And then you put it back in the decorative pot. And it can be kind of a pain, like, because I have hundreds of plants, when I'm running back and forth with my plants to the shower, I can feel like an insane woman who's made questionable choices. But all of my plants thrive and prosper. And the more you care about plant, if you've got a big, beautiful fiddle leaf fig, or if you've got, a big, lovely monstera like this, or a big palm tree, it's worth doing it because your plant will be so much happier. So completely drench it and then let it completely drain. And then the other thing, if it's awkward for you to carry it to a bath or a shower, because I know that's not like easy for everybody to do, will I break? Those big plastic tubs? I have one over there, but if I go and get it, those big plastic tubs that you can use for all kinds of things like laundry or whatever, I will take those and let that be my bath or shower sometimes when I'm got like plants in an awkward place and I don't want to remove them too much. I will just sit them in that tub. I will pour a huge amount of water on the plant and then let it drain into the tub and then put it back in its pot. And that will solve your watering problems. Like, I no longer have to think about which plants need water. I like avoid watering desert plants. And apart from that, everything else gets watered every 2 weeks. Like everything else, which is so easy. Okay, I've been talking so enthusiastically about watering. I haven't read the chat in ages. So let me. Yeah, Debar, it is very easy to kill plants if you put too much or too little water. If it's continuously raining, Vikas, So with your outdoor plants, they should all be in pots that have holes in the bottom. If they're not, they're gonna die. Like that, the water has to have somewhere to go. Um, if you live in a climate that gets loads and loads of rain, what you want to what you can do is basically change the potting mix so that the speed at which the pot dries out is appropriate to your climate. So, because London gets absolutely loads of rain, all of my outdoor plants are in a very loose potting mix. That means I have compost and then I have loads of perlite and vermiculite mixed in with it, which are basically little rocks that break up the potting mix, let oxygen in, and let it dry out faster so that when it rains and rains and rains and rains, the pot gets a chance to dry out and the roots don't rot. So that's how you can do it. And if you live in a climate that has very little rain, you want to do the opposite. You want a very dense soil that's going to hold on to the water as long as possible, so that your plant's roots don't need watering constantly. Uh, okay. What else have I missed? What edible plant is the easiest to take care of? Well, I mean, it might be basil. It might be basil. We might get on to basil. Um, is it true that plants understand you? I don't know, but there are studies of them responding to music and to people. A lot of people swear that if you speak to your plants and sing to your plants, they are happier. So maybe it's true. I talk to mine, but that's mostly for me. uh, the stream is categorized as Genshin. Oh no, I did try and change that. That's annoying. Well, I will have to change that retrospectively. It's supposed to be a just chatting. Um, Mr. A4U. I don't understand why plants need so much care when they thrive in the wild. I will tell you why. It's because when they thrive in the wild, they're thriving in the conditions that they evolved to thrive in. And when we take them indoors or we put them in our gardens, we are putting them in completely different conditions from what they evolved for. So the closer you can make your garden to the conditions that the plants in it evolved for, same with your house, the less care they'll need. So if you live in a place that, like England, doesn't have, I mean, right now it's very hot and sunny, but doesn't have a lot of light. If you live in Northern Europe where it's dark all the time and you want to keep plants that come from a part of the world that is constantly bright and sunny, they're going to need loads of care and loads of help because you've taken them so far away from the environment that they evolved for. So what I do instead, because I believe in making things low effort, is I will find plants that come from an environment that is darker, and wetter. And so I've joked before that basically my balcony outside, I've discovered from trial and error, is very similar climactically to mountainous China because plants that come from, no, plants that are native to England struggle because my balcony is not like an English climate. I'm 12 floors up in the sky. The plants there are exposed to constant sunlight and they are battered by the wind and the rain. So plants that come from a Chinese mountainside, which is in constant sunlight, battered by the wind and the rain, and exposed to a similar temperature range as what we get here, they do super well without any effort from me. But if I was trying to have like an English cottage garden, those plants would die really fast because they would just get snapped in half by the wind and like fry in the sun and freak out. So basically, you have to pay attention. You have to respect the plant's origin, basically, and pay attention to what Mother Nature has evolved it towards, and then replicate that. And then you won't need to make any effort at all. Can I change the stream category while I'm streaming? Probably. Surely. Let me try and do that. Do I know where to do that? Not really. Oh, don't change the category. You can get drops. Oh, I guess that's true. I don't think there is a gardening thing. All right, guys, vote. Do you want your Genshin drops or do you want... It shouldn't be Genshin themed. Not with in honor of Lego Batman. That's all kinds of wrong. Quick action, edit stream info. Is that what I do? Category, not this, just chatting. Sorry about the drops, but it had to be done. Has that worked? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Holy Booba. All right. We're going back to Basiltown. So, that was How to Water 101. Drench them, let them drain. End of story. There's no half a cup of water every blah, blah, blah. Don't do it. Drench them, let it drain. It's the best. Mr. Afer, you always thought people get local plants, didn't know they get imported. That's a lovely, pure approach you have, because I find maybe it's a British thing. We are fond of going around the world and yoinking things that don't belong to us and bringing them back. So maybe that's a British problem. But we are constantly filling our homes with houseplants, like from the tropics, and then being surprised that they don't work. I mean, some houseplants from the tropic, like orchids, actually work very well as houseplants in Northern Europe, because orchids are quite happy in the dark. Not fully dark, but in dark spaces, because they live under the tree's canopy. So they have evolved to not require loads of sunlight. So some of our tropical yoinking is okay. Oh, wait. Someone did a poll? How does that... There are polls? Sorry, Debar. No, that was good. I'm sorry that I swept in with my autocracy. For Eleni, I am not playing anything today. Today we are just talking about plants. So apologies. Or not, depending on whether you like that. Am I ready for Snezhnaya? I am very excited for Snezhnaya. Hermit Pesto, here we come. Okay, Mido, yes, you keep getting excited about the basil, and I should respect that. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk about basil is because it's one of those things that you can buy in the supermarket. Certainly in UK supermarkets, they sell these tiny little pots, and they have like 40 stems in them. And then people think, well, I should keep this because it's a little plant. And then the plant dies in a week. And then the person who bought the plant blames themselves and think like, where did I go wrong? And you didn't go wrong. Those plants are designed to die so that you go back to the supermarket and buy another one, unfortunately. But I can show you how to basically turn a basil plant into like a little tree, and then you will have an ever increasing yield, and then you will have pesto forever and caprese for daisy. So this is what we want to do. So I show you. Actually, wait, let me show you. First of all, I will show you on here. The thing that is fun about basil is that if you prune it in a particular way, it can grow in a very strong and stable structure. And then it will just kind of keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can have forever yields. So let me show you what you want to do. And I can tell you how to harvest other herbs as well, because it's kind of different rules for every different herb, and that can be a bit confusing. You don't know whether you're supposed to just take leaves off or take a whole stem off or anything like that. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you kind of could. Let me find the basil. Basil in Arabic is called Rayhan. Wait, but I'm saying that wrong. Rayhan? Infinite money glitch. Hell yeah. So I grow basil from seeds. Basil seeds are super tiny, tiny little black dots. And what I do is I sprinkle them in. Let me see, do I have an image? Probably. We got a little baby basil in here. Yes. You can see my cursor, right? These top right corner, these are two little baby basils. I sprinkle like 3 tiny little basil seeds into one of these little seed trays. And the seed trays are great because they have a lid and they kind of work like a terrarium. If you water them but put the lid on, the water evaporates and then condenses and evaporates and condenses. So they don't need constant watering, even though that's a tiny amount of soil. And they germinate very quickly. And then you get this tiny little plant, and then I will pot that up into something slightly bigger. Do I have a picture of it? Yeah. Something about this size. And these photos I took to illustrate to you how to prune the basil to make it strong. Winter, you call them herbs with an H. Oh, you don't say herb. You're right. I'll alternate between herb and herb. Okay, I took this photo specifically to show you guys. Okay, look at this basil stem. Ooh, basil. Okay, so basil, I keep wanting to like reference Fibonacci. Do you guys know who Fibonacci is? The Fibonacci sequence is like which we try and I'm so enumerate and I try and explain maths and everyone's gonna log off. The Fibonacci sequence is basically 1 is divided into 2, so from 1 you get 2. Each of those 2 also divides into 2. So then from 2 you get 4. It means it doubles every time. So basil grows in the same way. You've got this one stem coming up here, and then you can see already without pruning, it's giving you a little hint that if you were to cut this stem here where I'm shaking the cursor, which I hope you can see, then 2 other stems are going to grow, 1 on each side. It's a very symmetrical plant. So I think I have another illustration for you. Look. Oh. Here's me about to cut. You can see this has grown super tall and leggy. I've grown this in my hydroponic system. And so if you cut it right above that little point where the little shoots are, then that single stem will become 2 stems. And then you leave it be for a while until those two stems have another set of leaves, which, let me see if I have a picture. Yeah, okay, this is the beginnings. But actually, maybe I'll just show you IRL. Do I have a better one to show you IRL? No, I'll show you. It's kind of heavy because I put it in a concrete pot. Okay. Hello, friends. Here's a basil plant that I have. Okay, can you see? Can you see there? It's shaking because my hands shake, so it looks like the plant's like terrified. It's like, no, don't cut me. Oh my God. Forgive the tremor. Okay, so can you see this little nub in here? That's where I cut the stem. And then what has grown is this stem off here and this stem off here. And here's another example. Here, well, you can't see, it's concealed by the camera. Here, I cut the central stem here, and then these two big ones have grown. And if I put it down, can you still see? Kind of, yeah, perfect. Okay. So these are nice long stems. And this one, if you look at it, we have two sets of leaves here. And then going in the other direction, we have another two sets of leaves here, and then the plant top. I could cut this right above the next set of leaves, and I would get from these little tiny corners, the armpits. Shoots always grow out of the armpits. That's always what I think of. You would get another two stems coming out of there. This one, you can see where I cut it here. I could cut this one down here because that's the first set of leaves. Or I could cut it up here. If you want your plant to be the most like dense and perfect symmetrical shape, you should cut after every set of leaves, and it will divide in two after every set of leaves. And then with the cuttings, sometimes I let them grow in kind of an unruly way, and then when I come to trim it, I'll trim it down to that first set of leaves so that I get a kind of regular shape. And then the cuttings you can stick in a glass of water. And as long as you've cut it with a really sharp scissors, I sometimes then go in with a really sharp kitchen knife afterwards. If you make that cut super, super clean and you don't crush the stem, these will stay alive for ages. So you don't have to worry about doing it right before you cook, because basil's quite happy in water. In fact, it's so happy in water that, like these guys that I showed you earlier, they will grow crazy roots in no time. And then this has now just become a hydroponic basil plant. So I can leave this in water until I want to cook with it. Or I wouldn't say permanently, because they do require a bit of upkeep. Like, it's possible, but fully long-term hydroponic basil requires a bit of upkeep. I tend to just keep them there until I want to cook with them. But you can see, like, I let it grow 2 extra nodes worth, and then cut it here. But I could have cut it here and it would divide. But basically, if you follow that Fibonacci rule, what you will end up with is, instead of that supermarket pot of basil that has loads of flimsy stems, they're all competing for nutrients, they crowd each other out and they die, you end up with instead a nice, strong, tree-shaped basil plant. And these are quite young, these ones, because I only planted them, like, I sowed the seeds a couple of months ago. But they will just keep growing and growing and growing. I keep them in my kitchen on a window ledge. You can keep them outside, but the only downside to doing that is that if a basil plant gets too hot and it freaks out, it will bolt, which means it will flower. And once it flowers, it stops making tasty leaves. This is kind of true of most herbs, is that as soon as they start to flower, you want to pinch off the flower stalk kind of immediately. Otherwise, the herby leaves will not be good. Or you let it flower, which is lovely for pollinators if it's outside, but you have to sow new seeds because you don't want to eat those. You don't want to eat those leaves. I have to save. I dropped a stem. Yoink. That's my basil demo. Hooray. Okay. The Fibonacci sequence is in Gilded Runner, a Sumerian battle theme. I've seen that. I've seen it visualized and somebody drumming to it. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. Where do I keep my basil glass? Oh, this. You could put it in a windowsill. That's what most people would do. I have kind of a lab situation because what's a good picture? Yeah. This is my hydroponic setup. So that's where I germinate my seedlings. And then this itself is a hydroponic system. It's very cool. It's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. And so I have these little LED grow lights in my kitchen, and I'll put it under that, but it could very, very happily live on a windowsill. I wasn't showing you any of that stuff. I just realized. Thank you. Those are the LED lights I was talking about. They are tiny little like incubation lights. People always joke that I'm growing a weed farm, which I'm not. It's just herbs. How strong are those lights? They're very, very weak. They are baby little LEDs. It doesn't matter because they're right up close to the plant. Do you know what I mean? Right up close to the leaves. But honestly, a windowsill is a great shout. Is that why the herbs we grow taste less flavorful? If you've let them flower, yeah. Yeah, Ash, I meant to tell you that about the flowering because I've seen your like 4-foot coriander, and those coriander leaves, I imagine, don't taste great. What I have done, because coriander tends to grow quite, like, germinate quite quickly, is I let my coriander outside. I brought it in. I brought it in so I could do show and tell. Okay, wait, let me do show and tell. Let me do show and tell. I brought it in, so I'll do the thing. This one is slightly unwieldy because it definitely lives in a giant pot outside. Yes, winter ashes coriander is crazy. It's so high. So what you can do, Ash, is basically cut off as soon as you see a flower stalk, cut it off. But I do feel like coriander has very strong, like, will. Once it's decided to go to seed, it's gonna do it. And so what I do is I just plant new seeds. So you can see, like I say, this is a bit unwieldy because it's a big old garden pot. This is my coriander. I have, or my cilantro, sorry for the Americans, my cilantro. I have let it flower, and you can see that, maybe you can't see, can you see? It's like a dirty garden pot, so I definitely can't put it, I brought a little tub to put it in. Okay, can you see, maybe down here, that instead of being a coriander leaf that looks like, I'm going to pick off a leaf to show you. So this is like recognizably a cilantro leaf, right? Once it flowers, the leaves start to look a bit more like this. They almost look like dill. They're kind of thin and spindly, and they don't taste good. What tastes amazing are the leaves of the small plant. And so I planted extra seeds, and now we will see. Yes, you use coriander for the dried herb, I think. Yeah, Winter, I was playing with my accent. Cilantro. I can say cilantro, but that sounds hilarious. Cilantro. Yeah, look, can you see the little babies? So you can see a bunch of different leaf shapes. I don't know how closely you can zoom in. But can you see that? In fact, I actually do. I know I have a photo I can show you. I know I can show you. The very first leaves that poke through are called dicotyledons or dicots. Oh yeah, okay. This is a different plant. This is a cucumber plant. But you see these leaves. You'll see these poke through first. Here's a good example over here. They look like the emoji of the shoot. Those are called dicotyledons or dicots. It's two cotyledon. Di is Greek for two. There are such a thing as a monocotyledon, which is one leaf poking through. This is a monocotyledon. There are multiples because the plant's more mature, but it's one little shoot that comes through first. But your herbs, here you go, dicots. That will poke through. And then after that, your characteristic coriander-shaped, cilantro-shaped leaf will poke through. Do I have any in this container? I thought I did. Do I not? Maybe in the hydroponic. Surely in the hydroponic. I know I have. Am I hallucinating? I'm quite sure. Well, that's just a whole bunch of coriander growing. But anyway, after those two little dicots poke through, the next leaves that follow will be that distinctive coriander leaf shape. And from then on, it's delicious to eat until it flowers. So that's what I've done here. So I've got the new crop growing, basically. And then I let the top ones flower because the bees like the flowers and we like the bees. That's how it goes. All right, we're back. We're back. Can you cut the flowers to bring it back? You cannot. So flowering is an interesting phenomenon in plants. When a plant flowers, what it's trying to do is reproduce. And so often a plant does that when it's super stressed. It does it when it thinks its life is over. And so it's like, quick, save yourself, my children. And so it produces flowers in order to produce seeds that then spread. And so once it's sort of kicked into that life cycle stage, you can't bring it back. The thing that we so enjoy eating as human beings are the fresh young leaves of herbs. So really, you got to start over. But luckily, herb seeds are very inexpensive, very easy to grow, very easy to get a hold of. So it's not too tricky. You need to get a white coat and a pair of glasses so you can be Dr. Pamela in real life. I like being Pamela Isley so much. She means so well. We're on Team Pamela. Do you know what I mean? I know Poison Ivy is a villain because she's too murdery. But Dr. Isley, just wants ecological protections. And that's what we all want. Humans love tasty babies. Yes, Ash, we love the tasty babies. As one of my favorite Poison Ivy lines is she sees Robin eating an apple and she goes, "Stop eating my friends!" That's how she feels. Stop eating my babies. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about how to harvest other herbs. And I did, there's a whole bunch of show and tell, but you know what? I don't need to show you everything. I can just describe the things to you. Um, with basil, we've covered how you can make it a tree. You can also just pull leaves off it willy-nilly if you want to. You know, I'm not trying to make it sound like it's rocket science. I was just describing a thing that I find is like really satisfyingly perfectly symmetrical. With a lot of other plants, a lot of other herbs, you want to harvest them way more brutally. And that will actually help them to produce more delicious, tender, herby leaves. If you let them grow and kind of treeify like the basil, that is a bad move. So I brought in rosemary. You can see my rosemary back there. Rosemary, you want to cut off the new growth. Rosemary gets hard and woody. You can kind of it's a very resilient bush, you know. You can kind of cut it anywhere, but if you cut off the new growth where it's soft, instead of being like hard and twiggy, that will be the tastiest stuff. With chives, you want to just go in and give them a big haircut. Don't be shy. You cut them off at the base, just like loads of them. They will grow back more vigorously if you keep cutting them like that. Same with mint. With mint, don't just pull off leaves, cut off the whole stem. Mint grows so fast. It grows so fast, actually, that it's an absolute disaster if you plant it in the earth. You want to keep it in a pot, otherwise, it will take over everything around it. So with mint, cut off the whole stem and it will grow new stems. You can cut off half the stem and it will start to grow new shoots out from that. Mint's unstoppable. Mint's crazy. But the more I find, the more you harvest mint, the more vigorously it grows. What else? What else? What else? Coriander, the way that you harvest it is you cut off the whole stem at the base. Same with parsley, cut off the whole stem, because also parsley stems are quite nice to cook with, not just the leaf. I would say, if in doubt, cut off the whole stem rather than pulling off leaves, except for basil, where you want to prune it a little bit more thoughtfully. The wrath of mint. Yes, that is why. That's why it's such a rude thing to show up with mint and plant it in someone's abode. I would be livid if somebody sowed mint all over my beautiful Gentian mountain. People put their herb plants on the wall and have them grow down. Yeah, I have a plant wall. I haven't put herbs on there. I have onions and pothos. There's some pothos living in water, and I've got it living in water specifically so that it grows slowly and doesn't take over my kitchen. But that's another little cooking. Did I do the thing where I changed it? Didn't do the thing where I changed it. There we go. I put spring onions in water because they will keep growing. And then if you use the onion, and you cut off the whole onion and you're just left with the base of it with the little roots, it has to have roots. If it doesn't have roots, it will rot in the water and in the ground. So if it doesn't have roots, just eat it. But if it has roots, put them in water or stick it straight into the earth, and a whole new onion will grow. Let me see if I have pictures. And Ash has done this, and Ash's onions they look like leeks, frankly, which is appropriate because she lives in Wales. They are gigantic. Yeah, there you go. You put the ends that you've cut off that you're not going to eat in soil, and a whole new onion will grow out of that. Don't know if I have pictures of the more vigorous little onions growing. Bye, Sandy. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you. I'm going to take my leave now. Very good. Very good. I like it. I like it a lot. Perpetual onions. Yeah. Forever onions. Honestly, I meant to, I ran out of time. I meant to take photos of all of my latest outdoor vegetable growings to share with you guys, because the summer is such a good time to kind of like update progress on all the vegetables that I'm growing. And I put those spring onions outside because Ashes were doing so well outside and I wanted to copy her. And they are growing really well now. Ash has the tallest garden I've heard about. Ash's garden is a model. Every plant in there is a model. It's so tall. So tall and beautiful. Yeah. She's growing pumpkins as well. Somebody messaged me with a question about pumpkins. They said that they had sown pumpkin seeds, but nothing had come up. And I have never grown pumpkins, but Ash has. So, I mean, the person who asked the pumpkin question isn't in the chat. Are you? Are you here? Are you here, pumpkin querier? Perhaps you can get a live answer from Ashley Haddad. I will double check if I can find their username. Cannot find the username. But they were having problems with carrots and with pumpkins. Pumpkins. Yes, Ash says nothing coming up can be as simple as the seeds were a dud. Sometimes they're bad seeds. Don't blame yourself, blame the seeds. I tend to, when I sow stuff, I sow a bunch. I assume that things will fail. And so I sow loads of seeds in loads of little seed trays to just, you kind of, nature's quite brutal and you're like, these are probably not going to survive. And so that way you're more likely to have some success. And it's always easy. Like if you end up sowing too many and you have too many sprouts, you can let them grow a little bit and then you just pinch off the weakest ones. I know it sounds cruel, but this is how nature works. It is survival of the fittest. If you pinch out the weakest ones, then the strongest one will survive and it'll be the most likely to make it into from seedling into a proper mature plant. Because it's really sad if you grow a seedling and then it, dies before it matures into a full plant. That's where we shared. Mike Fly, I hope that you will be what's it called? A prepper, a basil prepper, ready for the apocalypse with your caprese. Something else that's quite fun actually about basil is that it is a natural pest deterrent for a lot of garden pests because they don't like the smell, which is crazy to me because it smells so good. But if you plant basil in the pots with your other vegetables, so I have planted basil with my tomatoes, I've planted basil with my aubergines, it will help keep bugs away from your other vegetables. And then when you come to harvest, you're like, cut off some basil, cut off some tomatoes. I just need the mozzarella, It's like pre-made Italian food. But it's really funny that your username is Bucket Boy when you're talking about like watering. Listen, Bucket Boy, Yeah. I definitely appreciate the rain that we have here. It is a bit much in the winter. I do worry about my plants getting overwatered sometimes, and I have to do that thing that I was talking about earlier, where I make sure my plants have a really loose potting mix so that the water drains quickly, because my palm trees and stuff can get like waterlogged and not do well. But it is lucky. Right now we could do with some more rain. Global warming is definitely making my love for tropical plants easier in one way because our temperatures are higher, but our rainfall is really low at the moment, and I am constantly walking around with a watering can. Oh, I like Thai basil. Thai basil's lovely. How much space needed for one seed of pumpkin? Good question. Ash, pumpkin queen. I mean, I suppose for the seed, a teeny amount of space, but how much space do you need to plant the seedling out to become a mature pumpkin? Summoning the pumpkin queen. Come to us, pumpkin queen. Mido, I don't know which way around that trade is going. Are you giving us? I want the sun all the time. I am obsessed with it. I need it to be hot. I'm very happy in this heat wave. Ash, yes, plant the basil with the tomatoes. It is banging. The thing that's nice also is that they have sort of vaguely complementary root systems. Basil's roots are vigorous, but they're not too chunky. They don't take up too much space in the pot, so they won't crowd other plants out quite so much. So I've got them in with cucumbers, aubergines, tomatoes, the lot. Um, Potato Shura, you don't have any space for plants. Well, maybe you could get one of those hanging baskets and put a pothos in it. I always think those look so cool. I used to put them all over my houses in The Sims. I like the way they look. Oh, okay. They need lots of space between them, Ash is saying. I don't know how to say your surname. I don't want to call you a degen. Is that what your surname is? Is it an actual name? Are you saying degenerate? Degen magic. Um, that's really sad if you live in a tropical land and everything's withering. It's like Genshin, the withering. No. Cute Cuppy, I haven't played I haven't played The Sims in a long time. I used to love it. I don't come for me, EA, but I don't like their pricing structure. I think it's really kind of gross, actually. I really liked the days when you bought a game and you just had the game. I don't like that you have to spend an absurd amount of money for all of these expansion packs and they lock functionality behind it. And then they made the base game free, and that really underlined how wrong they'd got it, I think, because they want you to pay so much for these expansion packs. And I don't know. I loved The Sims 3. That was great. I don't love so much what they've done with Sims 4. I do. It's all beautiful, and I'm a house builder really more than anything. So I enjoy the architecture of it. But I would like to be able to customize everything, and I would like them to be slightly less money hungry as a player. This is what I think. This is what I think. I have not tried Paralives. Kazoo, goodbye. Good night. Thank you for joining us. I've not tried Paralyze. I kind of just shifted away from play because The Sims used to be kind of all I played, and then I only played Civilization, and I still love Civilization. It's still my favorite game. But I haven't played anything similar to The Sims in a really, really long time. And then I got into Genshin, and see you later. All of the hours of my human life. I would love to do a civilization stream. I haven't suggested that because I didn't imagine there would be lots of crossover. Are there any other civilization players in the chat? It feels like such a different demographic of players from Gacha and Lego, that I thought like maybe just nobody would show up. Civ is an amazing game. A truly amazing game. I'm a big history fan. I studied history all the way through school as far as I could, and I've continued to it's one of the things I continue to find the most interesting as an adult. Like I love to watch documentaries and go down Wikipedia holes, and I have learned more about like realpolitik, how the world works, how trade works, how warfare works, how just like why nation states do the things they do from playing Civilization. I used to have these kind of idealistic ideas, which I still hold on to in principle, but when you play a game like that, which is such an incredible simulation, like such a detailed, brilliant game, it makes you understand why countries go to war, or why fighting over resources can become a country's entire MO, or why having access to coastline can be the most important thing, or things like that. Then when I first started playing Civ, I was growing these perfect agrarian garden cities. I was playing as the Inca, and I had my lovely terrace farms, and I didn't build an army, and everything was just schools and gardens, and I thought it was so pretty. And then my partner nuked me because he needed to teach me how the world worked. He was like, you have to learn. And then I started playing like with multiplayer and realized, oh yeah, I really had to learn. I really had to learn. And so now I build armies defensively. Because I was really not participating in the accurate simulation. But I do love that game. I'm getting used to Civ 7. I love Civ 6 the most. Civ 7 is the latest edition that's been out for probably a year now. It wasn't my favorite from the off. I am trying to give it a chance though. Yeah, it was an ethical bombing. I've not tried Crusader Kings. I think I found the marketing very masculine, whereas Civ is very beautiful. And it's always the beauty of the environment that will like lure me in. But I have heard that recommended a lot. And unimaginable shenanigans do sound good. Oh, hello, good morning, Sasukiet. Harvest Moon. The Civilization of Harvest Moon. I still do always try to play a Civ that's like, I like ones that have lots of greenery and gardens and plant stuff and farms, and I just think that's cool. I like the science-based ones. All right, sweet guys. That was everything that I planned to talk about. So, are there other main questions that I have forgotten, that I have ignored? Oh, so I desperately need to have a drink of water. I desperately need to have a drink of water. Aren't we all parched? I'm going to go and refill my water glasses, and then I will return and just check if there's anything else, any questions we want to answer. So have a little think if you have any questions, and then I will be back shortly. I'll put you on my specially made tomato chart BRB screen. Alex is back. Every time I put my headphones on, I look like I've been dragged through a bush. There we go. It's a bit more civilized. You enjoying the tomato chart? I don't have a microphone on that screen, so I can't discuss it with you while you're looking at it. But the basically last year, I sowed a bajillion tomato seeds, and then way more of them survived than I anticipated. And so I'd grown attached to them by that point, and I was like, oh God, I've got like 30 tomato plants. What do I do? And I decided to use the opportunity for science. So I thought the scientific method I will apply to these tomatoes. I will put them all in slightly different conditions, and then I'll make a chart of all of those different conditions, and I will monitor their progress, and I will find out what the optimal conditions for growing tomatoes in my balcony are. And so when a plant died, I drew a little skull on the chart. But as it grew, I drew it on the chart, and I would draw, when green fruits come in, I would draw a little line drawing of a fruit, and then when the fruits ripened, I would color it red, and when they blossomed, I would draw flowers. And it was my way of figuring out what they liked. And I discovered that in my garden, they did not want to be in the greenhouse. They found it way too humid in there. They did not do well. They were quite happy out in the battering winds. They wanted maximum sunlight, and they liked living in a mega giant bucket. So maybe it will be the same for you. Put them in a gigantic bucket in as much sun as possible, and they'll do really well. Are you calling me a botanist? I'm delighted by that. All right. Do you lovely lot have any other questions before we go? Ash asked if you've grown garlic. I actually haven't, but I am interested. I am definitely interested. I think it's one of those things where, like a potato, I enjoy anything where you just like put the food item in the ground and let it sprout. That's fun, you know? Winter wants merch. Give us merch. We can't make any Ivy League merch. Princeton won't be happy. Oh, K-pop fever, you were trying to save a bee? Mike is right. Sugar water, honey water, a little bit of basically the sugar helps give them energy. But even just a little bit of water can help them on its own. Oh, gee, Collins. I enjoy your scape pun. I actually wanted to grow wild garlic because I wasn't aware that it existed. And then I went to Cambodia and there was wild garlic everywhere. And I was with this really cool guide and he was just like, look at this. Yoink, pulled it out of the ground. It was like, no, 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 taste this. And it was delicious and amazing. I'm like, what? And then I found out that it does grow in England, but because it was over foraged. Thank you for the follow, Brandy. Because it's over foraged, it's now like a crime in the UK to uproot it or yoink it, or you basically, if you see wild garlic in the UK, you have to leave it alone because we're trying to like let the populations recover. But you can grow it from seed, and I would like to try it, but I always forget because it's one of those seeds that you have to sow in the winter or in the autumn. It needs to go through a winter in the ground. It needs like a hibernation period before it germinates in the spring, which is so unusual. And so I always forget because I sow all my seeds in the spring. And then I'm like, oh, dang, I forgot. I should have sowed the wild garlic months ago. Which herb in my garden is the one that I find I use the most in my cooking? I don't have it at the moment, and I'm about to put it in my hydroponic because it grows very nicely in there. It is flat leaf parsley. I like parsley in everything. Thank you for the follow, Blue Light. Yeah, I like flat leaf parsley in everything. It's freaking delicious. I use basil a lot. That's why I have such strong opinions about how to prune it and make it gigantic. I've made my own pesto. It's quite work intensive making pesto. I like to just throw it into pasta sauces. And is garlic really that vulnerable in London? I got distracted. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's been over foraged. They've taken too much of it. So, trying to protect it. But at the moment, I've got this thing that I'm really into. I'm growing dill and chives and also garlic chives. And so I go out in the morning and I will cut some dill and some chives and some garlic chives, chop them up super fine, put them in yogurt. And then I have that with boiled eggs. And it's like my soft boiled eggs. It's like my favorite breakfast at the moment. Like a little herby yogurt with my eggs. So at the moment, I'm absolutely smashing the chives and the dill. Yeah. Recommend that. Wild garlic is cool. I think it is a different plant from garlic, much like wild strawberries look quite different from your sort of supermarket strawberries. And I think that is what's called scapes. I think wild garlic are scapes. That was G. Collins's pun. And you eat the leafy part as well, I think. It's not just the bulb. You know what, Winter? My pesto is not that famous. Whenever I've made pesto, I've been slightly disappointed in it. I've had other people's fresh pesto and it's better. So I don't think I've cracked that one yet. Wow. Your grandma had mangoes, guavas. Oh, that's amazing. Imagine. It's so sad when you can't save a bee, you guys. But it's nice that you're out there trying to do it. I got so happy the first time I saw bees up on my balcony because up here on the 12th floor, there is no reason for bees to be up here. So I would never see them. But then when I started growing plants that flower, that pollinators like, I would see bees all over the place. Actually, let me see. This is cute. It was pollinator week recently, so, we have to shout out the pollinators and protect them. Where? Look, you guys. I found a bee. Bee action shot. So much bee. Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. Action bee. Is this a movie of the action? This is a movie of the bee in action. I was so excited. Can you tell? Oh my God. What else? There was one that really made me laugh. I really hope I've kept the video. I have to show you guys. Sometimes when a pollinator is really getting into that good stuff, they really act like me when I have a bag of Doritos. I took a video. How will I find it? I called the video Mlem because they're going Mlem, 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 Mlem. Behold. These are my lovely lilies. And the pollinator, if I can focus Paul in a second. Can you see its little tongue going lum, lum, lum? Absolutely going to town. And it was so funny because lilies like this, when they're given as like cut flowers, those stamen with the pollen on are such a like nightmare because because they'll stain your clothes, they'll stain tables. Like, so I cut them off like the second they come in the house, and it was really nice to see in nature that little hoverfly being like, "Oh my God, I've hit the mother lode." Yeah, you got to help out the bumblebees. They're also sometimes those big fuzzy ones. I love them, and we need them to survive, but they do act like idiots sometimes. They're just bumbling around, smacking into windows and stuff. So don't beat yourself up if you can't save it. You know, you're doing your best. All right. Was there anything else I desperately needed to show you? We'll end on the Tom Cruise of bees. Oh, persimmon tree. Nice. I've seen persimmon trees in California. We don't really get persimmons in the UK. Winter, you made a beef stew for your voice actor friends? That's so nice. My favorite stuff that I've made for my voice actor friends is Mexican, because that's my favorite giganto cuisine to make. As you can see, for example, this is a salsa that I'm making with stuff that I grew, not the onions. Do I have a picture? Oh, actually, these are the hands of Amanda and Jane. These are the hands of Amanda. These are the hands of Rover and Cartathea from Wuthering Waves. And those are tomatoes that I grew. But I did not grow the artichokes or the boursin or the chèvre. These are all tomatoes that I grew. But yes, that was me cooking. This is a pico that I made with... What was I trying to find? I swear I had a picture of the whole spread somewhere. When I make a big old Mexican feast for my other voice actor buds. There you go. This is my favorite thing to cook. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I've never tried durian, and I would love to. I know that it divides people, but there are very few foods that I don't like, and I really love to try new things. So I would like to try it. I just can't believe I'm showing off my cooking. Look, guys, I made it. All right, we can't end on a... Actually, we can end on this because I I cut my first jalapenos yesterday. I made tacos for Ash. And we had salsa with jalapenos. So yeah, we'll leave it on the jalapenos. thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate it. And Amanda is Cartathea's VA. Sorry, I can't interrupt my outro to say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's she's phenomenal. All right, sweet. Thank you very much for joining me in this Ivy League plant stream. I have still not yet had a chance to play Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. But I do now have a copy of the game, and I'm really excited to play it. So maybe I'll stream that. I don't think I want my first experience of playing it to stream, but maybe if I get a little bit like familiar with it, then I can stream some of that. Because everything that I've seen, all the clips, so much. I just think they're so funny. The writing that the team did is so funny. TT Games have done an amazing job with it. It was such a joy to be a part of. I honestly can't believe they let me play Poison Ivy as well. Like, it is the greatest honor. And especially to be doing Uma Thurman's version, because I just think she's one of the best actresses out there, and I adore her. I think she's so cool. And so to play her like high camp Ivy was an honor. And please check out the game if you are at all interested in such things. My 9-year-old nephew thinks it's incredible. So so I imagine he's correct. And I will do more plant streams in the future. So please send me any of your plant conundrums. And then I will also be doing. Eva, grazie, Arieli. I always call you Areli. Arieli. Grazie. There will be more streams soon. Not sure what's next. Maybe Gensh. Maybe a little bit of Genshin. Maybe Civ, now that I know people are interested in civilization. Possibly. But I will be back again. And thank you very much for hanging out with me. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.
E vai.